And alright, we're doing this again. Doing our little play with Ryota once more. And when the last time we got a bad end, and well, the variable is the fact that Ryui's here now, is what makes it different. I wonder what's gonna happen. Probably nothing good, but, well, let's see. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it. But someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right on my chest. You, why don't you say now? Okay, so we're getting like, or rather, a lot of the dialogue is the same. So I sit down, throat dry, shoulders immediately relaxed. That's exactly how I like it. Ryota is a fan of playing make-believe. Since you came late, could be a special assistant. I'm scared, you help me discipline them. I'll give you a choice. I'll give you a little choice. Oh, okay. I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully, because it's an important one. Each of us needs to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class after all. But I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my disciplinee will be darling little Ryu, and yours will simply be that plastic class skeleton. Or both of us will work on those other two students. Other students? Since we're... Oh, right. There's two strangers sitting by Ryui. I looked to the back of the room, sizing up the three figures. The first is a girl, the second is a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. Yeah, pretty much the same like as before, right? And then, well, here's Ryu as well. Ryu's next to them. Unlike the others, she's completely still. Eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. But when I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tears of fear in her eyes. She's ungagged, and in a different circumstance, she would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other two students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word tells me just how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryota, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He's discipliner, I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I'll help to copy. He breaks bones, and I will do so. Playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I will only have to main plastic. Stop on plastic, break plastic, everything would be safe. But then, Ryu would be in the hands of Ryota, and watching Ryu get hurt, I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her, letting her die in Ryota's hands. No, there has to be a different way. But then what? The other two students? That's two lives instead of one. Two bodies instead of one. Objectively, it's the worst decision in every way. Ryota knows this. Because he knows me, sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can't give up Ryu, I just can't. But forcing two other students to suffer? Just who do I pick? I guess, yeah, we have to make a decision. Either Ryota hurts Ryu, or we well, torture the two students just like last time. And I don't know if things will change because Ryu is here. I don't know if Ryu can stop us from going all as psycho, but even if we don't, I don't know if that'll change the situation with Ryota. Either choice seems bad, I think. Especially knowing what happens, or what happened anyway, last time we played discipliner with the two students. But, I mean, if I was Yama, I would just choose the two students. I don't know them. I know Ryui. I don't want Ryui to get hurt. It's a very selfish decision, but, I mean, either way, Ryoda is still in power, so we just have to play for time, I think. And, I don't know. I guess it's better that these students get hurt than Ryui. Even though, I mean, yeah, technically Yama did say it's like I mean, really, it's kind of like a false decision because Ryoda's making all the rules here. But if we are playing his game, then we're hurting two students instead of one, objectively. But we know Ryui, you know? So... I don't want to hurt the waifu. Especially not let him hurt the waifu. Well, too bad, brother and sister, you're gonna be our sacrifices. I try to speak, but it comes out as a croak. And desperately, I clear my throat and try again. Let's work on the two other students. The reactions are immediate. Ryoda's face lights up in a manic smile. Ryui's jaw drops. The other two students explode. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please don't hurt my sister, don't hurt me! And, well, yeah. We do learn that as siblings, and that trauma from our past comes up again. Brother and sister. Ryoda is very gleefully. Very happy, very cheery. And Ryui gasps. Cruelty will never end. Life won't figure my brother. Throws the girls against the ropes. Is it just so darling? You bastard. He has to be yours. You're disgusting. The girl glares at me. I guess, yeah, because this time we did choose to hurt them instead of Ryui, so she has a reason to be very angry at me. Hate burning clear in her eyes. You're disgusting. And I say nothing. It vaguely dawns on me that I should direct her anger at the serial killer, at the psychopath who orchestrated this entire thing. But can I really? They still had hope. Hope that they would go unscathed. That the only one person would have to suffer rather than two. I crushed that hope. The last hope they ever had. And now, they'll die for it. Agonizingly. With nothing but despair. Instead, my reply is automatic and empty. I'm sorry. I fully expect her to spit in my face, but she only turns her head away. Isao, look at me. Look at me, Isao. Yeah, then you'll be okay. You won't be okay. You will not be okay. This is a lie. To comfort you. In your last throes of death. Throw, is that the correct word? Actually, no, throws are like, that's when you're dying, right? Well, I mean, technically, they are gonna die. But not as immediately. Your last moments of death is what I should have said. I look at Ryoda, expecting him to slap her into silence, but he only leans against the wall, grinning like he's having the time of his life. Oh, he loves it. He loves the despair. Of course, he must be having a field day. The pleasure of pain brings him more joy than death itself. I get the sudden urge to laugh, and I don't know why. Yama. The airy voice from the corner reminds me of Ryui's presence. She's staring quietly at the scene before her, face bleached white. You're not going to hurt her, are you? Guilt, terror, regret, anguish. We must both be feeling their full effects. Close your eyes, Ryui. She stifles a quiet sob. I turn to Ryota. So, what are the rules of the game? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls out the 2 pipes, 3 feet in length. Gives one to me. Take turns inflicting blows. The boy bawls, and the girl is shocked. First person to fall unconscious means a loss. Have to inflict as much pain without knocking them out or killing them. Each blow is to be felt by the coach's mind. In that moment, I'll be just like Ryota. Be glad I didn't pick the knife. I need to remember this. You ready to begin? No, I'm certainly not ready. I'll never be. I shift the pipe in my hand, feeling its weight. It's hefty, sturdy, could easily break bones, probably shatter a skull. And it's in my hands. I'll go first. Watch and learn. And then he's like, he's about to... Yeah, he's gonna hurt like hell. Raises the pipe. About to smash him. But stops. Psych! And then actually does it. Blah! Ouch. The boy's screaming for the pain. Oh, beauty. And Ryota's just having the time of his life. Yep. This can't go on. I realize it quietly through the empty shock as my fingers tighten around the pipe. I can't let this go on. Is there a way to outthink this situation? Anything at all? When it's needed most, my mind fails me. Well, your turn, boy. 4 students, including me. 4 lives at stake. 2 thrust in the middle of terrible suffering. I originally came with the intention just to grab as much time as I possibly could. I thought I could prevent a death, maybe 2. But there's no sign of the police, not even the slightest indicator that I'll come at all. And now, death is looking like the best option. To buy time, I'd have to draw out this game, causing as much pain to this girl as she can bear, while the boy suffers beyond description. And if the police don't come, we'll still end up dead. I can crack this girl's skull, give her a merciful end, and then I lose. Ryota unleashes his knife on the rest of us. Or, if I move really fast, I can maybe put an end to both her and her brother, in which case it will only be down to Ryu and me. No, Shigure said she would come. She swore she would come. She promised, she told me... Stop dallying about, boy. We haven't got all day. I mean... Yeah, well, we have more choices. Yeah, last time, we simply defaulted to crushing the girl's skull. And yeah, we can attack Ryota. That's what I was thinking, yeah? We could just attack Ryota instead, but we don't have the element of surprise, right? He'll just overpower us, and well, we're not in Super Yama mode right now, so I don't think we can parry his knife or anything. That will probably lead us being dead. We can stall. I mean, that's the idea, right? We believe in Shigure and stall for as much time as possible. But that might not work. Ryota might just see through us and be like, no, you cannot stall. Now I will stab you in the face, dummy. What happens? Well, I mean, this might be the sadistic choice. But if we can draw out this game for as long as possible, we might survive. It's probably might be more effective than just simply stalling, right? If we just play along for a while until the police comes. Well, if we trust Shigure anyway. We'll still, I mean, if the police does come, and it's a happy ending, I assume, where Rio gets captured and we're rescued, we're probably gonna be still held accountable for the fact that we did, you know, torture a student, even if it's under duress. We're still, like, you know, probably held accountable. If we do play along with Ryoda's game, probably a bad idea. Again, I don't... Attacking Ryoda is just too... It's just too easy. I've been thinking about it, but like... And it's probably the most, like... I don't know, the most immediate choice that you would take. Just attack the bad guy. If, you know, for example, if I was Masato, maybe it would work. But... I don't think Yama is all that physically capable. Again, out of his, like, I don't know, out of his, like, whatever happened last time where he had a split personality. And for whatever reason had gained, like, super, like, pipe skills where he can parry a knife easily and make him stab himself. I don't think that will happen again. I'm thinking of hitting the girl. I don't know what the hit the girl means though. Does it mean play along for as long as possible, or does it mean crushing her skull like last time? In which case, actually, it might be interesting if the same thing happens again, where we turn all psycho and we take care of Ryoda, but then Ryui's here, right? Maybe she can bring us back. We'll still end up as a killer, but and it's not ideal. But we might be able to take care of things ourselves if we can unleash our, you know, other side. Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking of the first choice. I mean, all of these choices probably won't end well anyway, so let's hit the girl. In a situation like this, it seems like the only option is to go with the flow. I automatically step forward, knuckles turning white as I raise the pipe. Shigure says she would bring the police. Shigure needs me to buy time. Buying time means abiding by the game, drawing it out, pain without mercy, conscious damage. Yama, please! Close your eyes. The voice that comes from my mouth is cold and blank, nothing like my own. I keep my eyes open as I swing the pipe down, knowing that I'd only endanger the girl further if I closed them. I see the pipe descend. I see the girl's eyes widen. I see... The vibration rocks from the tip of the pipe up through my arms to my eyes, which rattle in their sockets. I feel the impact of her arm giving way beneath my own hands. Something in me, something I hadn't known was there, sinks away into the shadows, gone forever. The girl gasps for breath as her brother bursts into tears. No! Well, I mean, at least this time she isn't completely dead. Not yet anyway, I don't know. A brother, a sister, doomed to die. I step back, hands shaking uncontrollably. Ryoda only throws back his head and laughs. Oh, yes. Yes, that's it. I was worried for a moment, you know, thinking that you'd pansy out. But you mean business right now, don't you? There must be something. Some other way, some advantage, something that doesn't involve this. I still myself, keeping my eyes fixed on the girl before me. Faking shock? Maybe. I can't say that I'm really faking. Meanwhile, I let my mind cast about the room, mentally recalling every sensory memory that is shelved away as I entered the classroom, searching for some miraculous solution. The door sprung open beneath my touch as I stepped in the classroom, my figure enveloped in a nighttime gloom. Ryoda stormed behind me, letting every footstep vibrate through the floor. up the door frame into the foundations of the building itself. He was enjoying himself, maybe a little too much. He was waiting for this moment, I think. The students that he'd carved to pieces might have pleased him temporarily, but this night, this would be his magnum opus, and he'd want to relive it 1,000 times over. He grinned with confidence as he cupped his hands around his mouth. And the delinquent arrives at last. I guess this is like before, right? This is his memory. I shuffle further into the room, squinting into the darkness of the furthest corners, my breath shallow and my palms sweaty. Ryoda pushed up his sleeves and tossed his keys and phone on the top of his desk. That's when I saw Ryu. Wait. Tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. There's one thing that I'd overlooked. The mole in the police. No matter how quickly and secretly Shigure may act, there's still a high chance that she'll be found out. After all, it only took a few minutes for that mole to relay the news to Ryoda. This time shouldn't be any different. Any time now, a phone call would warn Ryoda, tell him to get away, and that would be the end. It doesn't matter if I manage to distract him with this game. It's not like he'll ignore a phone call from his accomplice. In that case, I need to get rid of that phone. I guess, I don't know, the choice we made doesn't really matter, then? Maybe? I don't know. Because yeah, Ryama just said right there, playing along with the game wouldn't help things if he exactly knew when the police would come. I have a pipe in my hands. I'm just a step away from the desk. The main problem is breaking it without Ryoda noticing, or if he does notice, he won't think that I'm knowingly sabotaging him. Hello? Earth to Yama Ishimoto? What, is this a little too much for you? My voice catches and squeaks, which makes me sound exceedingly helpless. That's a good thing. Ryoda giggles quietly, but his eyes are narrowed. This must be a little rough, Do you feel like you're hitting your poor sister? I wouldn't worry. She's already dead. You know that. I grip the pipe tighter, my knuckles whitening with pressure. The rough edges of the metal start to cut into the palm of my hand. I welcome the anger, the panic, the helplessness that's swirling through my blood, gathering it into one tangled ball of black emotion. Must still be sour for you, kid, no? Would you rather hit the little boy? Shut up. Yama, please, don't listen to him. Come to think of it, maybe you have some fun if you have the boy. You finally get an outlet for all that self-hatred. Yama, she's just trying to get to you. You can fight it. Shut up, you bitch. With frightening speed, he bounds across the classroom and seizes Ryu by the hair, yanking backward until her neck is at an unnatural angle. You know, I liked you at first, but now you're just a little yapping dog. I should slit your throat right now. Feed your esophagus to the brat over there. He gestures to the boy who's fastened to the chair. Ryu makes an instinctive whimper deep in her throat. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Do we have an understanding, you blathering whore? Yes. Something locks in my brain, and all my emotions drain away until I feel like an empty automation. You shouldn't have touched her. My vision blurs with rage as I raise the pipe with both hands, my arms shaking. Cold. Everything feels so cold. The edges of my lips pull up into an unbidden smile as a fleeting vision passes before my eyes. Ryoda's body, battered and broken at my feet, waiting for me to make an imprint. I seize the vision, even as a deeper part of my mind shrinks away in horror. I let it control me. You should have touched Ryu Hayata. I slammed the pipe down with as much force as possible. The metal pulses against the floor with an ear-splitting crack. Splinters of something white and shiny shoot away from the point of impact like a spray of bullets. The boy and girl shrink back in their chairs, staring at me with wide eyes. It's irrelevant. Get away from her! I let my voice increase in volume. I let it shake. I let it steep with madness and fury. Ryota steps back inadvertently, not out of fear, but out of surprise. He almost seems pleased with my transformation. I lunge forward, my voice exploding shrilly out of my throat. Get away from her! Get away from her, or I'll kill you! I start swinging the pipe madly, like an unbalanced marionette on a string, letting the ends swivel into the desk, chairs, walls, anything. I rush at Ryota, but he nimbly weaves between the desks and tightens a grip on his own pipe. My pipe passes within an inch of Ryu's face as I whirl around, bowling in Ryota's direction towards the desk. I vaguely register a look of open horror from Ryui, but I flick it away from my mind like a gnat. I lunge at Ryota with a full force blow, swinging down, letting out a vicious scream. And just as I was hoping, Ryota is startled by a sudden burst of energy and instinctively dodges to the side instead of blocking my blow. My pipe slices downward and splits the polished surface of the teacher's desk, sending shards of wood flying. The impact rattles up my arms and into my skull, but most importantly, I've hit Ryota's foam dead center. It shatters into a new pile of rubble, the resulting crackle masked by the destruction. I don't dare to take a pause. I can't celebrate the small victory. Instead, I let my anger fester and take hold of the pipe in my hands. Method acting. I'll kill you right here, Ryota. I swing again at him, and he steps back, adjusting the grip on his pipe. He's getting ready to counterattack. The momentum in my arms carries my weapon straight into the wall, sending the plaster cracking. I let loose a scream of frustration, something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. From the corner of my periphery, I can register Ryu clasping her hands. Yama, please stop. Is that the best you've got, kid? You still haven't landed a single hit on this old man. I don't let myself think. I just swing the pipe unblinkingly at his head, knowing that it won't hit. And Ryota drops down, just as I suspect. His eyes widen with glee, and he swings his own pipe with one hand, and my stomach suddenly lurches back against my spine with a piercing hammer of agony. I'm sent sprawling to the ground, and Ryui screaming faintly in my ears. Yama! And then the coldness, the numbness, the emptiness, it all melts away, and I suddenly feel weary, like every footstep is being pulled through mud. The bowl of pent-up aggression in my gut is replaced with a pounding soreness from the impact of Ryota's pipe. For a moment, I let myself lie there, splinters of wood and plaster pricking to my back. This is part of your plan, Yama? I don't know. It would be so easy to just close my eyes and sleep. Let this whole world drift away. Get up, boy. Game's not over yet. Unless you mean the forfeit. Oh, that's right. I can't forfeit, because there's other lives on the line. That's what I came here for, to help these other people, to save some lives. I start to push myself up, but my abdomen clenches in pain. I graciously fall back to the ground, my back stinging from the tiny daggers of fragments embedded into the ground. So, no forfeit? Pity. I turn onto my side and try again. This time I lean on the remains of the desk, cradling an arm against my aching stomach. Where was that energy from a split second ago? Why am I suddenly so tired? I guess that I tend to charge ahead when I have purpose, and without that purpose, I just run on a broken engine. I needed to break that phone. Now I've broken it. What's left? Wait? How long? When will Shigure come? Cute playboy. I see what you're trying to do. My veins fill with dread. It takes every ounce of self-control for me not to cast a glance at the buried phone. Unfortunately for you, noise isn't an issue. You can throw a tantrum all day, and no one will hear a thing. The new curfew keeps kids in the dorm court. No one's gonna take a stroll around the classrooms when they could be playing foosball in the common room. I don't have energy to respond. I don't even feel my face move. I guess, yeah. Ryota does not notice that his phone is broken. Gradually, the cold, welcoming emptiness in my mind is dissipating, replaced with a creeping sense of utter what? Something dark, black, something that feels like it's squeezing my temples and smothering my nostrils until I can't breathe. Well, that was an interesting intermission. Must be my turn again now. He weighs the pipe casually in his hands, like he's adjusting his hold on a baseball bat, and lifts it over his shoulder. I only register his words when he steps forward, sidling closer to the boy's side. Suddenly, past the bolt of pain in my diaphragm, I'm screaming, "No!" Sorry, I wanted to... This is a scream of pain, not groaning, so... Or something like that, I guess. I automatically close my eyes at the moment of impact, but that doesn't make the crunch of his collapsing bone any less loud. Ryota struck the boy's hand this time. I keep my eyes off of it, scared at witnessing the damage for myself, but judging from the boy's shocked stare, it's just as bad as it sounds. Please, don't hurt him. Oh, I wouldn't worry if I were you. You'll be getting your fair share of the pain. She groans at this, loud and anguished, bubbling in her throat like a clot of blood. Breaking the phone wasn't enough. There has to be more. Something else I can do. Are you enjoying this? As a filler, as my mind scrambles for something more adequate. Why, yes, I am. Thanks for asking. And you even enjoyed the previous students? They were alright, but this little show has been the best by far. It's like playing chess against a toddler versus playing chess against a rival. One just doesn't bring that satisfying challenge, you know? I can't feel good about pulling a checkmate on a little kid who's not even potty trained. He's becoming more talkative, taking his focus off of the game, even if it's just a little bit. I seize this with desperation. Maybe they were more of a challenge than you thought. I figured you out just from the clues that they dropped. At this bold claim, Ryota tilts his head like a broken doll. I see the deranged gears in his head picking up speed ever so slowly. Because Ryota doesn't like games of only pain, suffering, and injury. Ryota likes to think. Ryota is intelligent. Ryota would look for a battle of wits just as readily. Even this pipe game is a twisted mix of sadism and psychology, his mind clashing against mine, trying to make me succumb to his methods. Maybe there's a way to pique his interest and bring the floor back into balance. It's the last hope I have. You were always a sharp kid, weren't you? I had high expectations for you. but you've exceeded every one of them. You deserve a gold star. I hope you know that a gold star isn't exactly a great incentive at the moment. Oh, but I read that positive reinforcement is better than punishment, particularly when it comes to children. To be fair, I've always thought of it as a ruse. Punishment gets results. You just need to look at history to realize that. It's because of whips and taskmasters that the ancient pyramids and the great terracotta army were built. Meanwhile, what has modern humanity done? Skyscrapers? What beauty do those hold? They're glorified prisons, cages of metal and glass meant to trap in pathetic little animals. Is that what you consider success? Building something big? Some people just prefer happiness. Happiness? What a subjective measure of reality. At least impressive structures are tangible. They're made of strong material, carved to loom above the common populace. When you look up, you realize the depth of man's insignificance. Happiness. What can measure happiness? How many smiles I send per day? Oh, let's not forget the first world dream, living in a mansion with a Ferrari and thousands of servants. Nothing brings happiness, but so much brings awe. This is just a meaningless stall for time, but I'll take it. He's starting to warm up, and weirdly enough, so am I. Oh, maybe happiness is subjective, but awe? Does it really bring fulfillment? Doesn't it? Haven't you ever stood on the precipice of a great chasm and just thought, oh, I could just die happy at this moment? I guess we're just having a philosophical discussion. Just to stall time. It's an unparalleled feeling in the world, child. You seem to be regarding me with skepticism, yes. Then, pray tell, what is your opinion? What makes you happy in this foolish little world? What makes me happy? Something about this question seems to be a trap. Is he waiting for something to use against me? Is it time for another layer of psychological warfare? My friends, I could say. My friends could make me happy. Well, then he'd point out how none of them were here, how I've endangered the only one who mattered, how friends are simply an arbitrary term for a circle of useless acquaintances. All I would fear, or all I feel, is despair. And what else could I offer as an answer? Being alive? Being alive to do what? Feel and experience everything that life has to offer. Then Ryoda would say that if the gift of life is enough to bring happiness, then everyone should always be happy. The slave beneath the whip, the trafficked girl in a brothel, the prisoner of war on a rack. And again, I would only feel despair. What makes me happy? What fuels me to get up in the morning and keep going? Altruism? Hardly. I think most people in the world are pretty stupid and don't deserve to live. Love? Yeah, as if I'm a fountain of affection. What is there to fuel me? What makes me happy? Anything I can think of. I know that Ryoda can warp and use against me. He'll try to break me with my own words. Oh, have I been caught? A shame we had to meet under these circumstances, child. Your mental faculties are truly impressive. Do you understand the theme of my lecture? I can't say I do. Will there be a study guide? You're already in the test, boy. I'm afraid it's too late. Simply put, he who has the most drive has the most strength, and he who has the most strength has the most power. Look at you. You can't even tell me what makes you happy, whereas I gave you a confident answer. Why do you suppose that you are so powerless, while here I stand, invincible? He even took my lack of answer and used it against me. I tried to tell myself that it was the right decision. Are you saying that you won? I'm just reporting facts. But even if I'm weaker, I can still beat you. I already beat you. Nobody was supposed to know that you were responsible for the killings. The recent ones, or the independent ones. Ryoda stops in his tracks, his eyes glinting. Well, whatever the independent killings were, it looks like he really was the person behind them. I guess that was a bit of a trick from Yama's part. It's a breather that I desperately seize. I try to cover my fatigue by flinging a challenging look in his direction. You've been busier than I thought. Doesn't seem to be too hard. People don't tend to expect much of me. But you even made friends in high places, hmm? High places? This throws me for a loop. High places. Because of the independent killings were being covered, right? Or at least swept under the rug. You know, being censored and all that. I can only assume by very influential people. Natsuki being one of them, maybe? Or at least being related somehow, and, well, that's how we know, right? What does he mean by high places? I got that information from Natsuki, and she lives in a shabby apartment in District 6. I mean, well, Natsuki, that apartment probably isn't her actual living space, you know? No, I can't be distracted. I have to keep the conversation flowing, make him lose track of time. Just how many people have you killed? The Aztecs had this remarkable belief system. Would you like to hear it? I just asked the question in order to appease the gods to keep the universe running smoothly. They were to offer constant human sacrifices. Priests would rip out the hearts of prisoners of war while they were yet alive. If they slacked in performing this ritual, the kingdom as they knew it would fall to pieces. Well, that's why you kill people? To keep Isumu running? What kind of reason is that? Oh, what? Do you think I am the priest? His voice drops and takes on a tint of something unfamiliar. My spine tingles in apprehension. I am no priest, child. I am the god. I receive bloody offerings. I do not give them myself. The city must earn my goodwill, lest I paint the streets red with my vengeance. The ones who scorn me will be obliterated by the very words of their own mouth. Oh, dear child, you know nothing of the beauty of pure, unadulterated strength. I open my mouth, willing a snarky remark to come forth, but there's nothing. I mean, I would say, oh great, he has a god complex. My hands are shaking, tightened against my throbbing stomach. What kind of madness has seized this guy? I straighten and open my mouth wider, hoping that something will come out. Anything. If I don't say anything, if I don't distract him, even if it means I have to listen to more of this insanity. Your antics amuse me, boy, but our intermission must come to an end. We must return to our little game. Oh, too late. The opportunity's been lost, and now I'm rattled, and I can't recover. In terms of psychological damage, he's won handedly. I don't think it could have happened in any other way. Like a puppet master overseeing a play, he has total control over every scene. Well, boy, it's your turn. What is your move? I guess we're given this choice again? We're kind of looping. Again, we're saving over our earlier saves. We can hit the girl again. We can attack Ryoda, or we can stall. Attacking Ryoda, what we just saw probably does nothing. We can stall again, but we just did that and it probably won't work. I don't think we have any choice but to hit the girl again. It's very cruel, but we have to play along, I think. We have to play along. I have no other option. I have to just follow along. My hands shake as I step closer, raising the pipe. Maybe I can get away with hitting softer. No, it's a dumb idea. I know it's a dumb idea. Rhoda would immediately know, and then he'd make me hit her again. Can't close my eyes. Might accidentally kill her if my aim is off, so I keep them wide open until the air pulls tears out of them, or tears out of them. Then I swing my pipe. Yeah! Her arm hangs limply over the edge of the chair, bent in an unusual angle that raises bile to my throat. How must she be feeling at this moment? How can she stand it? Held captive for no reason, every nerve screaming fire at her, begging her consciousness to fade, but finding no relief. How can she live through that kind of miserable existence? Say, kid, you're not looking too hot. Want to call in a sick day? I doubt that's an option, I want to say. Something unaffected and cynical. Something that keeps me safe from the mess of the world. Instead, my mouth opens to pull up a topic to divert the conversation. You said you kill people for fun, essentially. You know, I mean, I guess you could say that before, or I don't know, I don't know. Because I had a feeling that we had to hit her, but I guess you could, if we picked the stall option, we could have just skipped to here, where we just say, you know, you said you kill people for fun. Oh well. You said you kill people for fun, essentially. Oh? Does that bother you? I assume it would bother most people. But if I remember correctly, the Aztecs, well, they killed other strong warriors to transfer that strength to the sun. They also make me sneeze. Excuse me. So, what made you turn on a bunch of helpless students? Even as I asked the question, the inner crevices of my mind whisper quietly. Is it worth it? Isn't this just prolonging an agonizing demise? What other option is there? Come to think of it, earlier you mentioned being an executioner. Good observation, kid. Let's just say that it's no coincidence that all the victims are connected to Ikari's son. How fun. You're about to join that number. Well, this makes me falter. Of course, if Yahiko isn't the killer, but has a connection to every single victim, it has to bear significance. How could I have overlooked that? I mean, we kinda knew that, right? But, I guess, yeah. In that context, like, something, or someone, or some organization is somehow attacking Yahiko's, or rather, the Ikari's son, for some reason, I don't know. Or rather, well, I mean, Ryoda's doing it personally, right? But I assume... Well, I mean, we're asking it right now. Like, what is his motivation? What do you even have against Yahiko? He's harmless, he's gentle, he feels like a little kid in a broken world. Something so stupidly innocent that it's refreshing. I have nothing against Yahiko. You're asking the wrong question. He has nothing against Yahiko, but he's killing people close to him? That's an incredibly drastic maneuver. Why would a serial killer suddenly focus his attentions on someone like Yahiko? Well, maybe because I assume he was responsible for the independent killings, but somehow he was found out by some sort of organization, which in turn, instead of like putting him in prison, used him to target Yahiko's friends, maybe. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know why. No matter how hard I think, the answer eludes me. But I can't falter. I can't let him remember to continue the game. Think. If I were Ryota, if I were some psychotic man who loved to kill people, no, inflict extreme agony, then why would I do such a thing? What is Yahiko that I'm not? What does Yahiko have that I don't? Yahiko is arrogant, a dreamer, easily excitable, oblivious. No, these are personality traits. Think deeper. Motive. The Ikari's son. Ryota said before. The Ikaris. If it doesn't have to do with past history, they don't really know each other that well after all. Then is it because of money? Money. Connections. Yahiko is the son of two higher-ups at Lemniscate. If Ryota doesn't have anything against Yahiko, then could he have something against his parents? If you were aiming for Yahiko's parents, it seems a lot more effective to target the people around them. Still have that brain of yours, I see. Yes and no. Yes, since Yahiko is such an easy avenue to his parents, but targeting the people around the parents and themselves, instant suspicion, not to mention artless and cliché. I thought you'd be smarter than that. A little thought bothers me. Why is he so open with his information? Probably because he's gonna kill you at the very end. At least that's what he's planning anyway. No. I don't have time to consider this. Right now, I just have to accept it. Think. More. I am Ryota. Even now, I want to see blood. To hear screams, to... No, something is clashing. Students aren't a challenge. They're too easy for me, the wretched pests. The deaths are simple and insignificant. They will be remembered for what? A day? 2? Perhaps 5 years by their families. But eventually, they will fade into inconsequential nothingness because they're young and meaningless. Another tally in a long list of missing persons. Whereas, if I get my hands on a politician, or a world leader, or even a company executive, mourning for weeks, months, years, remembrance in history books. The man who killed the king, or the president, or the emperor. I shall make my mark on society forever, a beautiful thread filling up the space of an intricate tapestry. But instead, I've decided to kill students, to capture insignificant little rodents, just to put pressure on the Ikari family. What a joke. Why am I even doing this? The Ikari family is threatening me? No, certainly my judgment would be more swift. I would care not about my own death as long as I could have them suffer first. Were they threatening me, I would see them in their rooms the next night with a knife in my hand and a grin on my face. Capital punishment would be insignificant. I would face the chopping block gladly in that case. Money. Perhaps someone is commissioning me with a monetary incentive. As if I am paid in blood. Currency is of little value to my psyche. If I really needed the pocket change, a few black market inquiries would do. Perhaps I need something money cannot buy. Something that only a certain commissioner has. And the only way to get it is to pressure the Ikaris, even if it means killing rabbits. Something that money cannot buy. To do that, I started with someone only slightly related to Yahiko, Midori Maino. They would not even notice. Yahiko may mourn, the compassionate imbecile, but to the Ikaris, it's just an insignificant disappearance. Then Toma Hayashi, who interacted with their son on a greater level, in the orientation group that Yahiko led. That may raise some eyebrows and call for suspicion, but nothing the Ikaris can prove. Next is Akane Tsukino, girlfriend of Shoji, who was close to Yahiko due to the Happy Club. Shoji himself followed thereafter. A spiral of people, with Yahiko Ikari as its center. The poor soul will not understand what was going on, but surely his parents would. And in return, I will receive something of enormous value, something that money cannot buy. And you know, I was wondering, Shoji died as well, right? But he wasn't directly killed, he committed suicide. But now that I think about it, who's the master of psychological manipulation here? Especially someone who was vulnerable mentally. That would be Ryoda, right? Most likely, Mr. Ryoda talked Shoji into killing himself. So, that's probably what happened. Everything went according to his plan, I think. But I guess the conclusion we're making is that he's doing all this to get something that money cannot buy. Even if it means that I must sacrifice a portion of my dignity. Yama? You, Ryoda, are on someone else's payroll? You're a freelancer? With a client? You're no artist. You have no satisfaction. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Once a predator, feared by all, able to strike whenever and wherever he's so pleased, now a mindless guillotine with no will of its own. How great is your greed that you would betray your love for art for this? Oh no, you fool, you've conquered dogs and rats. Silence. His voice teems of ice, and I feel his psyche writhing in humiliation. And it's just so thrilling. When they screamed, how easy it must have been to forget. Just as a man can distract himself with symphonies, so can he distract himself with agony. But when you returned, when you lay your head on your pillow, you must have realized the bitterness of your own insignificance. Rabbits, ponds, you're pest control. Do not test me, boy. But I'm caught up in the euphoria, a welcome distraction from the never-ending cycle of pain and panic that plagued me before. Selling your soul for a delusion, a pittance. You never wished to go back to happier times, a time where you were a shadow of a name. The independent killings. Nothing is more fearsome than the unknown. The people who knew about them, were they terrified? Did they huddle in their beds every night, unable to sleep, thinking that they could be next? Did it stroke your ego, knowing that the one who held their fate in his hands was you? Or were those killings also at the discretion of your employer? Were there further connections that the police simply could not deduce? Was that also a primeval commission? Ryoda grits his teeth and digs his fingers into the nearest desk, but he doesn't say a word. But then I'm right. I'm right. About everything. Here you are, the fearsome Cerberus, yet you are bound to a pathetic little leash. Caught up in corporate politics at that, where there's nothing but bigwigs bickering like toddlers. What exactly do you need so badly? I can't imagine you'd be craving love or friendship. Give me a quick reminder. What else can money cannot buy? Respect? Naturally good looks? Peace of mind, or say an honest politician? Motives, Ryoda. Motives are interesting things, aren't they? Everybody likes to think that their motive is special or unique, but in the end, they're all the same. Money, love, power. Which of those apply to you? Or do you still think that you're all that special? That you're something more than an empty little puppet dancing from the strings of someone's fingers? What a sick existence. What an agonizing, wonderfully meaningless existence. Yama, stop it! This is not winning. Ryui shocks me out of character. Like a fish suddenly pulled out of water, I stand idly for a moment, my mind blank. Not winning. Of course. I wanted to win over Ryoda. I wanted it so badly that I even became Ryoda, and let myself stay as him, even though I despise him more than I ever despise anyone. I guess Method acting to the extreme. But even that isn't winning. That's just losing. Because to become Ryota would just be win the battle and lose the war. I'm already inflicting injury on innocent students with a metal pipe, just like Ryota would. If I lost my mind... Cute display, kid. Real cute. He's smiling assuredly, already recovered. His voice is calm, but I catch a note of tension that wasn't there before. I get the impression that I made a terrible mistake. If I had proceeded, well, he would have snapped. What would happen if he snapped? Would we all look like these two students bound to their chairs, broken, helpless, pleading for death? I shouldn't have tried. But what else should I have done? Just gone along with the status quo? Would that have resulted in anything different? Know what's interesting? You're still missing something, aren't you? You think you've read the whole book. You think you know how it ends. You think you know the whole pattern. But you're still blind. You see out one eye, boy, but not the other. Missing part of the pattern? I don't understand. Think harder, boy. So, the sequence of deaths has to do with Yahiko. So what? So what? The broken gear in the back of my mind slowly begins to turn forward. Right. All the deaths revolve around Yahiko. Specifically over time, these deaths have gotten closer and closer to their epicenter. Almost like a whirlpool sucking in its surroundings. Closer to Yahiko. Within the school, the closest people to Yahiko are me, Ryui, and Masato. The inseparable gang that hangs out together, day in and day out, flailing through life with a bunch of rambunctious high school shenanigans, which was, basically most of the game, but now we're really in the dark zone, I guess, you know? Of course. That was why he'd instantly picked up the phone. That was why he'd been prepared for my call. That was why he'd kidnapped Ryui. Because we were already the next ones on his list. No. Oh, that was quick. Congratulations. To be honest, boy, the Kurogane boy should be here too. But, guess what? He goes to bed too early, out like a light, doesn't answer his phone. I even prepared my whole excuse and everything. I guess, yeah. Sticking to a healthy sleep schedule saves lives. Yay! I suddenly feel so very tired, weighed down. My intellect is fraying away. I can feel my sanity bleeding out of my body. Just let it end. It was all planned, from the very beginning. I can't keep holding out. I can't prolong this misery. I try to one-up Ryota, and I only end up in a worse state than before, if that trend continues. My eyes drift aimlessly to the ground, the pipe swaying limply between my fingers. Blood dripping quietly from the chairs. A small amount, a terrifyingly small amount, given how much damage we've inflicted. How much internal bleeding must there be? How much pain? Now I know Ryota's motive in history. So what? I'm still an accomplice in manslaughter. Bit by bit, wiping out the opportunities in the girl's life. Yeah, as I said before, even if the police do come, we're already an accomplice, right? The dream of playing on a sports team, the dream of being a pianist, the dream of marrying a normal guy and having normal kids, shamelessly and brutally striking those dreams from existence with no method of recovery. She's someone who actually has opportunities in life, and they're being taken away by someone else. Nah, the injustice of the world. You better be grateful that I'm a patient man. A lesser being would have peeled your forearm in layers for your insolence. The mental image pulses in front of my eyelids, and I stumble backward, nausea surging to my throat. That's right, I'm just a kid trying to fight a seasoned serial killer. What was I thinking? I use my hands and push against the desk, shakily trying to prop myself on my feet. I only collapse bonelessly to the ground, legs like gelatin. I can't continue this way. Not much longer. I see blood on the edge of the pipe in my hands. Blood that's not there. Blood I know isn't there. But blood that still weeps down the metal and coats my hands. All is silent, save for the strangled sobs of two injured children, two dying siblings, side by side. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry. Well, guess it's my turn again. He's just going to continue playing this game.